great day. A great day to each and every one of you. I am coming back to you. This is Lisa coming back to you from Broken to Birth. What an amazing day. This is, I think, this is the last, yes, it is the last Saturday of August. Wow. Well, I hope that your week is going well. I am coming to you just to give you a word of encouragement once again as I'm starting the series on Undone. And so today, I hope that this encourages you in some way. I'm going to come to you from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 32. It's the NASB version, and it says, "Be kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving each other, just as God in Christ has also forgiven you." We have been teaching and learning, or talking and learning a lot these last couple of months about forgiveness towards others, forgiveness towards ourselves, forgiveness even towards God, and for the different events and things that take place in our lives. And so in reference to us talking about forgiveness, there's a lot of things that we find out we have to be forgiving of. And so, as we talk about forgiveness, forgiveness of the authentic and true kind is a rare find. We spend years restoring worn antiques. We spend years restoring hundreds or spending hundreds of dollars repairing wrecked and dented cars. We spend time refurbishing furniture. We spend our time and our dollars trying to repair those things that we love and hold so dear that have been broken. We try to, put things together. Like, for instance, have you ever had something that broke and you wanted to reuse it so bad because it had that much value to you, or you liked it so much that you went out and you bought super glue to try to hold those broken pieces of that vase or that picture frame or whatever to hold it together? And so you get super glue and you put it on there and you hold it down until it finally holds. And so, but what I've learned is in my times of doing that, because I'm guilty, I've done that. In my times of doing that, I find out that over time, that crazy glue eventually will still become undone. It's not, even though it's powerful in sticking and holding things together, still over time, that crazy glue will become undone from the material that you're using to try to hold it together. And then I've also found that some things, some materials, and some objects that we try to use crazy glue on, it just doesn't work. And so that is a symbol that I look at and I think about when we talk about parts of our lives being undone. But what the beauty of parts of our lives, our characteristic traits, our behaviors, things we believe in, and so on and so forth. The beauty in that is that God never leaves anything undone. And so just like when the super glue becomes undone to that we were using to hold things together in hopes that it will repair what was broken, God, when He does things all things well. He will not repair something just so that we can continue to go on with life. But He'll take what's undone and He'll take it in the palm of His hands and He'll mold it and He'll reshape it. But when He does it, He makes all things anew. He makes them anew and more beautiful, more sturdy, more tangible than they were before. We as human beings, we become so fragile as life goes on. What makes us so fragile? The traumas of life makes us fragile. Disappointment, broken relationships, broken promises. Have you ever received promises from people, especially parents or family members or spouses, and they don't fulfill those promises? That breaks your heart. And so as this ministry is dealing with those kinds of that kind of brokenness, or different kinds of brokenness, I should say, God can take the brokenness that we go through and He'll always reshape it and do something better with it. I have a young cousin back home who has picked up the crafts and created a business of creating pottery. And as I look at some of her videos and how she makes these mugs, I love mugs. She makes these mugs and she forms them and creates them, and the mud is super wet. But as she has them on this little spinning wheel or whatever you want to call it, and she's just shaping it and cultivating it in the way that she wants it to look, I am amazed. Because when I look at that, I look at how God shapes and forms our lives in that same like manner. We don't know what the end result of the shape of that object that my cousin creates. We don't know exactly what it looks like. She has a vision in her mind of what she wants to do with it. But one thing that I like about it too is that as she's creating this pottery, there's little indentions in it that comes when it's cultivated. Not something that you can so naturally see right off the bat, but the shape may be a little bit, the shapes are different than some of the other pieces that she's created. And so that's how we are. We are wonderfully and uniquely made and shaped. Not in God's image, of course, our spirit man is, but at the same time, we're all created and shaped differently. Our likes and our dislikes are different. And even things that transpire in our life are going to affect us differently. And those are some of the things that make our lives undone. But God's not going to leave us in that undone state. I want to go ahead and let me read this again to you. Forgiving of the authentic and true kind is a rare find. We spend years restoring worn antiques and hundreds of dollars repairing wrecked and dented cars. But if a relationship sustains damage, we're more likely to relegate it to the scrapyard and try to restore its shine. We're far more enduring with our valuables than with the people we claim to value. And that also makes us undone. We have to not put so much value on things that are not valuable and place our value on things that are life sustaining, that are life giving, that are life transforming. That is what God is in the works of doing in our lives and in the earth. He's restoring things back to the way that it was originally intended to be. And just as God is doing that in our judicial system, in the school system, in the financial arena, in the medical field, in education, and so many other things that we are so intertwined and entangled with in this life, God is transforming things back to his original intent. And with him transforming things, let us be those beings that are going to step up and say, Lord, transform me. Transform me from who I used to be to who you have created me to be. We are undone, but once we are placed in his hands, he'll take the undone parts of who we are, the undone things that we have done, and he'll recultivate them, reshape them, and remold them, and make them beautiful.